So say I was addicted to opiates and then needing help. But I want to keep my job and I got to keep my house, or I can't leave anything behind to go into, I can't leave for 3 months. I can't, right? Or else it's going to be worse. I think that holds a lot of people back. What does somebody is like what kind of treatment can you get that isn't residential?
Yeah, so there's a whole continuum of treatment available.
Okay.
So for somebody who's on opioids or addicted to opioids, there's brutal withdrawal from that. So you'd want to get them into one of the clinics in town, or you can even now go see your doc. Your doc can prescribe Suboxone or methadone. All docs can prescribe Suboxone. You have to have a special license for methadone. You can take that at home. It just keeps you from getting sick. You don't get high. You taper down over a period of time. While you're doing that, you could see somebody at community counseling center, for example, for outpatient treatment, where you're going in once a week, once every couple of weeks to do counseling, deal with the underlying reasons that you were using. The other option would be to go to the hospital. Their program there is day and evening treatment. So again, if you need to do your groups in the evening, so it doesn't, if you're working in the daytime, if you're working in the evening, you could go to their day groups. So lots of flexibility there, more than we've had in the past. And that resulted from the RUSH report, I'm sure you've heard about at some point, that did an environmental scan and made recommendations for what was needed in our region for treatment beds. And what they clearly stated was we have enough residential beds in our community. We need to actually cut back on those. And so the hospital pivoted and created the day-evening program out of that.
Well, how does that Lakeshore Treatment Center fit in that picture?
Yeah. I'm not really in a position to speak to that. I wasn't involved in the planning. I've heard most recently they're looking at opening in the spring. Is the most recent date that was given by Minister Fideli on the weekend. I don't...
Well, maybe I'll have to get somebody from that organization in for a podcast interview, because I'd like to catch up with what's really going on with that. I've always had a little bit of a question mark about it, but that aside, I know that there's professionals in town who are cocaine addicts. Basically, they're running their lives at high steam, but they would never seek treatment because of the stigma and the possibility of it not being anonymous, right? Some actually go out of town for treatment and try to find it that way.
And the great thing about where we are now is, as a society, is that you can have a therapist anywhere pretty much in the world and do online therapy, right? Video therapy. So you could see a counselor that way. They wouldn't know your community. They wouldn't know about you in the context of your community. You could also because residential, like you said, isn't reasonable for everybody. So if they're high flying professional people, they're probably going to want to do the individual work with somebody out of town.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's interesting. The online ability for therapy. Does that actually work? Like, I don't know if
It does, and I'll tell you, I was a skeptic.
Yeah.
Because having been a therapist for many years and supervised a clinical manager for psychotherapists, when COVID happened, and we always did a little bit of it, right, for specific reasons. But when COVID happens, our whole organization, Community Counseling Center, pivoted, everywhere in the world pivoted to online. And it worked out much better than I would have thought. The basic skills are the same, right? Good listening, good body language, good appropriate eye contact, reflecting, all of those pieces. But then there are some tricks that you can learn while you're doing it, like how to move into the camera, how to ensure the person is engaged.
Oh, okay.
So it does work with the skilled
It's probably a
therapist.
skilled set in itself to be able to speak online with somebody. All right. Okay.